Welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about why we care about home-based businesses. And these are some important arguments that can be used for you if you wish to make a pitch, for example, to a local bank, make a pitch to a governmental agency like your Small Business Administration or Small Business Development Corporation, or if you're just trying to raise money from members of the community or even from your family. These are all good arguments. Now, this particular article focuses on the United Kingdom as a whole, but it's interesting because their arguments for why we should care about home-based businesses seem to focus on rural communities. Now we may be thinking, oh, well, this is just a UK-based article, this isn't going to apply in these rural communities. Well, I've been through Eastern France, and these kinds of arguments would work in some of those rural communities, especially like Alsace-Lorraine. I can think of like the entire middle of the US and the south of the US where you have lots and lots of rural communities that could benefit from home-based businesses based on these arguments. I've seen places in Ukraine, I've seen places in Iraq, I've seen these kind of rural areas all over the world. So don't think just because this article is in the UK that it's totally irrelevant. So here's some interesting arguments. First of all, a home-based business is huge for driving regional development. There are a lot of cities, a lot of counties, a lot of communities that are just too small to attract investment from big corporations. There's not going to be a Walmart in really, really small towns. There's not going to be a Costco in these small towns. There's not going to be lots and lots of major chains. So what does a person who lives in a small community do then? Well, they can either A, drive a couple hours to go to their favorite store, and that's practical for some people but not for others. Again, maybe people don't have the money for gas. Maybe they don't even have a car. Maybe the train tickets are too expensive if we're talking about the United Kingdom, or maybe just don't have the time, right? I mean, a couple hours on the road to go grocery shopping gets excessive, right? So these home-based businesses can provide a way for individuals to get services right there in their communities, close to their homes, close to their social circles, etc., so that you don't have to go very far to get things. And because of that, home-based businesses are a key driver of rural sustainability. And think about this. If people aren't driving really, really far to go grocery shopping or buy clothes or whatever services, or go see an accountant or whatever the services are, that's time they can spend doing something productive in their communities. So that helps promote regional development. It's also really good for revitalizing a daytime economy. You think about this, if you got a bunch of local small businesses or home-based businesses either way that are running, making revenue, that's money that can then in turn from tax revenue be spent on better schools, better police force, better infrastructure, better roads. And these are all things that can A, not only make places safer and more enjoyable to live in, but can also facilitate the follow-on of more businesses starting in that economy. So it's a huge way to make sure that money is being made locally and that money stays local. Another thing that you've got to remember, especially in the rural community, it's a way to give rural households multiple sources of income. And of course, this is not new. And if you think about how goods were produced pre-industrial revolution, you'd have a lot of farmers. You know, what do farmers do? They work in the fields most of the year, but in the winter there wasn't a lot of farm work to be done, especially people that didn't have animals. So you would have traveling merchants who would go and deliver raw materials to farmers, and they would make pens, they would take wool and turn it into yarn. They do a lot of these simple light industrial tasks. At the end of winter, the merchant would pick up the remaining raw materials and also the kind of partially processed raw materials, and they would pay a premium to the farmer or the farm family for that extra value-added work that they did. So, and again, this is a way for farmers to make money in the winter. So that idea is not new, but again, in rural areas, the average entrepreneur may need to have several different kinds of businesses, again, to cater for, well, there's not enough demand for this kind of business, so I can do it 20% of the time, I got this other line of work on 30% of the time. And so by having this kind of consistent multiple streams of income, it can increase the quality of life for rural entrepreneurs. And again, this is huge. When you've got people making money, they are empowered, they are not on unemployment, they're spending money in the community. There are so many good things that go along with giving rural entrepreneurs, especially ones operating out of their home, these multiple streams of income. And of course, whether you're looking at rural development or urban development, a good thing about home-based businesses is that there's no new infrastructure required. And if you're talking about, greenhouse gases and all this other stuff, the less often that we have to build new buildings, the better it is for the environment, right? So this really helps promote sustainability. Great. So in the next article, we're going to talk about the research questions and some of the key definitions of home-based businesses. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, give me some comments down below. Give me a thumbs up or a like, and make sure you subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.